I'm glad I came. I just heard a new thought. UN is very complicated. Just repeal and replace it. Nobody I knew ever really liked the kid who, when he didn't get his way, would just take his ball and go home. I don't know if that's what we do with the UN. Take our money and leave. How does that make anything any better? I think part of the problem is some of my colleagues are too young. They don't remember the cowboy movies. About 46 or 7 minutes into the movie, there was always a runaway stagecoach, and the good guy, you knew who he was because he always had the white hat, never fell off. And he'd be riding, risking life and limb to catch up, and he would jump on the runaway lead horse of the runaway stagecoach so that he could help steer it in the right direction. I mean, if you got a runaway, you can't fix it unless you help him to drive it. I don't know if we walk away from the UN because we don't like a decision that it makes, that it helps us any. Maybe we should just set up a different UN with those countries that agree with us all the time. Then you could have two UNs, or maybe you could join both. So you walk out of one day and come to a pretty good consensus with the people that you're with, and maybe just go over to the other one the next day. I don't know how that works to make the world a better place. How does that help us? I mean, everybody brings up Israel in this context. I haven't heard the Israelis tell us to quit the UN. I don't know of a country on the planet that was happier when the United States of America was at the United Nations the other day and vetoed an important resolution that would have condemned it and further isolated it in a very dangerous world. I don't know how we speak for the Israelis and say we shouldn't be in the UN because of them. I mean, don't put that on them. I don't think they'd be ashamed to tell us we should quit the UN. Doesn't seem to me that they've quit the UN. It seems to me that they sit at pretty raucous tables. And sometimes they plead with the other guys who they disagree with to come back to the table or sit at the table so they could discuss the differences. Much has been made about some of the wacky people or countries that get to sit on this council. You know, these ambassadors and countries are selected by their own people. They're the judge of their own qualifications, whether they think they meet the standards or not. I mean, every once in a while, some of us come to a conclusion that there are some pretty crazy people that get elected around here. Nobody in this room, for sure. But, you know, when crazy people have a crazy notion and I don't agree with it, should my side just get up and leave the room because we know what the vote's going to be? Or should we stay here and fight for what we believe in and try to change people's minds and make the points that we have to make? And I think that's what's at stake here. Our credibility to stay in the game, not cut and run, as I think the phrase of the day in my mind, Mr. Bacone used. How does it help us? Or if you're here to defend Israel, tell me. You know, I can appreciate that. But how does it help us? How does it help anybody if we just walk away? Anybody?
Well, sure. Just quickly, and I'll defer. I think that I think you made a very eloquent statement. The Bush administration, we didn't want to support funding for Durban, but we were open to attending. The Obama administration walked out of Durban and refused to attend. I don't believe that was cutting and running.
I've been to Mets games like that, where I got up and left. But
they didn't
attend.
But I think that's a fair point, sir. But I think it's a thoughtful debate whether you lend the imprimatur of the United States or you attend, and it's not black and white. The Obama administration said you couldn't salvage a conference on racism by all member states because it was so anti-Israel. The Bush administration said you couldn't salvage the Human Rights Council.
Yeah,
I think they're both right.
That's a pick and choose. That's not I'm never going to attend the meeting.
But both administrations did it.